Okay, let's see if we can sort out the light. This was a rubbish light, of course. It always is. Um, I'll see if this helps. No. Hold on. That's better. That's much better. Can you hear me okay? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. You can hear me and you can see me, hopefully. I have the camera on the side here. And let me know if everything is okay with the sound and the image. I can't do much about my face. It is what it is. And yeah. And to all the people who are telling me that I look tired, I am tired. It is because it's now 4:30 a.m. here in Norway. So, but I wanted to do this live stream at this time of the day because I normally do the live streams at an awkward time for people in North America. So, okay, sound and video is good. Great. So, I told you so. Now, I don't know if you are interested in the situation in Norway, but it's a it's a lesson to be learned here, I guess. So let me explain a little bit what happened here, because mainstream media in other parts of the world seems to think that Norway dropped all its restrictions. First of all, that's not entirely true. They only say that, and people in Norway believe that as well, just because they have forgotten how it used to be. So most of the restrictions were dropped, but there were still restrictions and regulations concerning traveling when you cross the border to Sweden and so on. So now, today, they are going to have a press conference because, and you know how it is, I'll have to be careful with certain words here, because it's spiking again. The curve, we are experiencing, as many other countries, not surprisingly, a spike, in cases and hospitalizations as well, I believe. And that's reason for concern. And it's like they are struggling with their narrative now. They are really struggling. And at this point, there is no point in me repeating what I've already said about this. People will find out, and they, most people, I hope, will now, very soon now, be able to put two and two together and hopefully get four as the answer. So it will be interesting to see what the narrative will be. Yeah, we'll see. I have some guesses, but I'll keep them to myself for now. So what happens in Norway and many other countries is that first you have people from the government or the advisory, what's it called? Well, we have FHI, People's Health Institute. They are advising the government on what to do. And those people and, the health minister and so on, they will typically do an interview or, make a statement to the mainstream media about what might happen. Then you have a press conference the day after or a few days after, and then they will announce that this might happen if so and so, and then that's what happens. Okay, so we're going back to lockdowns, I believe. Soft lockdowns, regional first. They will probably start up in the north, and that's how it's going to be. So we are certainly heading towards a dark winter. At this time, we will be adding the broken supply chains. We will have people being fed up with everything, because at this point, people will realize that this thing that they've had doesn't really work. And nothing's changed. We're just going back to the same old. Yeah, it didn't change anything. Okay, so that's what's going to happen in Norway, and it's like nobody should be surprised, because I know it's tempting to believe that, well, now we're okay and so on, but it is also very naive, you know. I'll tell you the real reason why they dropped the restrictions. It's because we recently had an election in Norway, and the former government, the last thing they did was that they dropped the restrictions, so most of the restrictions, as I said, and that's because they did not want to be remembered as the people who they didn't manage the thing, and they locked everything down. So they dropped restrictions, and of course everyone knew, not everyone knew, but they knew that the new government would have to re-implement those restrictions and go back to that. So, and they kind of handed that problem over to the new government, which is now a socialist government. Yes, Norway is now again run by a socialist government. I know some people, especially in the USA, believe that Norway is a socialist country. It's not, but we have a socialist government now. It's a kind of, can I say, sensible socialism? Not sensible, but it's not socialism. It's a mild form of socialism, should I say? Okay. So here we are. And I kind of think it's funny. I shouldn't. I know it's very naughty, but yeah. So can I just say, as I always say, that you can give me a super chat? I will then be able to see your comment for sure. I will do my best to keep an eye on the chat. My plan for this live stream is to just respond to your comments the best I can. A super chat makes it pop up so that I will see it for sure, and I also make some money from that. Never be ashamed of making money. Never be ashamed of that. I have recently spoken with a few people who are, because they don't want to. Sister Tenacious, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. And you can also become a member to this channel. I will do some members only live streams. Those are usually more personal. So, but yeah, I had recently some conversations with people who have decided to quit their job because they don't want to give up their bodily integrity. And I told them that you need to be professional about this. You need to first, you need to start by charging people money for what you do, because some people think they can't do that. So you need to be professional about this, which is also my advice to anyone who wants to become a YouTuber. You need to treat it as a business, actually, because that is what it is. And certainly YouTube is treating it like a business. But anyway, that's a sidetrack here. The True Wolf, thank you for the donation. Let's see here. You need to stand up on your own 2 feet and refuse anything that you do not want in your life. Exactly. Don't let the monster force feed you, and man up. Yes, absolutely. What happened to moderators? Well, we will just appreciate the trolls and have fun with them. But most of the time, I don't mind the trolls. I don't care. It's like they can be trolls if they want to. So here we are. Ulir Vuldan, thank you for the donation. I make an exception for you. Thank you for that. Your channel has been therapy hour for me for over a year now. Thanks a lot. Can I also add that it is very important now that we start focusing on a life outside of all the mess, a life outside of the problems. I've been preaching for a long time about that, and you know this. I will not be like a broken record, saying the same thing on and on again. Here's the thing: this issue will not go away. And if I'm going to sit here and comment on that continually, I will not be doing anyone a favor, and I will be sick and tired of it. I already am sick and tired of it, because we have said everything that needs to be said. What is important now, I believe, is that we move on. We move on and we start building a life outside of that. A life based on real values, freedom, family values, connection with nature. Some of you would add your religion to that. It is so important now that we say that, okay, we will not be part of this anymore. We will not be part of this. We will stand outside of this. For some, totally, 100%. For some, to a certain degree. As Roy here says, it's time to ignore all of them. That's kind of good advice, So, and also Norseman Bushcrafting says, become ungovernable. Yes. Now, I'm a strong believer in sense and reason and logic. I like statistics. I'm a big fan of statistics. And no, statistics are not lies. Lies are lies. Statistics are just facts. And when people say that statistics is, it's this saying from Mark Twain, I believe, they do not understand what statistics is. You need to look at the numbers, okay? Look at the numbers, understand the numbers, and they will tell you all you need to know. At this point, certainly. I mean, if you look at the numbers now with a basic knowledge of statistics, and if you don't see what's going on now, when you look at the numbers, I don't know what to tell you. It really is. It really is very, very obvious at this point. Sister Tenacious, well, thank you for the donation there. We all focus on getting after it, living our lives. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the trolls are jealous, most of them. And Sakya C, well, thank you for the donation. Yeah, well, statistics can be presented dishonestly, but that's not statistics, that's lying. So, but that's beside the point. Should we start off-grid communities? Yes. Yes, absolutely. And I've said this for a long time. The best option now is to go off-grid if you can. Now, I'm not, how should I put it? My house, now we have 3 houses actually, and we rent out one of the houses. None of them are off-grid. It's we got too late to that. You can't really do it anymore because you can't get the solar panels, and hold on, so on. But if they cut the power to our house, we would still be sort of okay, because we have a fireplace at least, and we can generate electricity for computers and so on. So we would be okay. But going off-grid is the way to go. And of course, I can basically just take my Lavo. I have a big Lavo wood stove, and I could set up camp somewhere and live there. And I mean, as a family, we could do that. In a time of crisis, we would be able to do that. So yes, we should go off grid. We should at least have the opportunity to go off grid. Now, okay, let me look at the chat here. I'm going to take this jacket off. It got warm here. We have warm weather in Norway again. It's awkward how warm it is. I'm sorry about this. When I say warm, I guess it's not warm by many people's standards. That's better. But I think it's warm, and that's just how it is. Now, yes, I heard by November 8th, they're going to make everyone get, they say, Big Mac. I haven't heard that date or anything like that for Norway, but I know I have a friend in Germany, and he told me that that's the deadline, November 8th. If you don't get it by November 8th, you will lose your job or something like that. I think in Germany at least. John Bond Zombie sending love from Vinland. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, well, when it comes to all the rules and restrictions, I do not know all the rules, and I'm not going to try to find out because I'm not following those restrictions. I'm not following those rules. I'm not interested in finding out. And I think, well, you know, I think it's like it's healthy now to distance yourself from all of this. So yeah, the heart issue. Yes, I know. It's again, what can I say? Look at the numbers. They are out there because it's impossible in this time and age to hide all the numbers, to hide all the information. Okay, Patch Corn Adams. That one sentence has made me feel so much better. Well, thank you. Hopefully, yeah, I don't know which sentence, but yeah, I'm glad to hear that. What rules and restrictions? We're fully open. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Yeah. Russell, I don't know which country you're from. Are you Norwegian? It's not a Norwegian name. No, yeah. It doesn't really matter that people think that, and it doesn't really matter that people walk around and they think it's like before, because it's not going to last. It doesn't matter. I have been talking about this. It concerns, traveling, but I won't get into those details in this live stream. I'm much more interested in talking about the mindset. Now, there are lots of people who have been criticizing me in the comments because I've been talking about how we need to snap out of it. We do. We need to snap out of it. We need to take back control of our lives. And then some people, they have been saying, Pagan Monk, welcome as a member to the channel. Wonderful. Now, take back control of our lives. And they're saying, how can I do that? Because there are so many rules and restrictions. How can we do that? Now, there's a mindset I'm talking about here, and it applies also to people in countries, in places where those rules and restrictions are effectively locking them down totally. Listen, it's a huge difference from being locked in a cage, wanting to get out, trying to get out, and being a slave who believes that he will never be anything else than a slave. So let's just look into that a little bit more. Your mind can be free even if you live under terrible restrictions like Australia, for instance. Your mind can be free. Your mindset can be a healthy mindset. That's what I'm talking about. And it needs to start there. It must start there. And I know it must be difficult, but at least it's a better way to handle things than giving up and getting into a slave's mindset where you don't have any ambitions, you don't have any hope, and you think that this is just how it's going to be now. So I know it's easy for me to say that, well, people say it's easy for me to say this. It's easy for me to say because I'm sitting here in Norway with, at the moment, it won't last very long now, but at the moment, no rules and restrictions in daily life. Okay. Um, so it's easy for me to say. But I can just tell you this. Let me tell you this. I'm a very private person, and I've had to make sacrifices. I chose to speak out about this, and I've had to pay a huge price. Okay, so I can tell you that it's not been pleasant. Okay, it's in fact it's been really really unpleasant. But it had to be done. It had to be done, and I didn't do it for me. I did it for my kids because I'm a father and I need to do what I can to make the world a better place. Actually, that's what you want to do as a parent. So, okay. Um, let's see here. And okay. Yeah, I see that now some comments are being hidden by YouTube. I'm not doing it. Listen, I'm not doing it. I don't even have the time, and there are no moderators in the stream here now. So please understand that it is what it is. It's the system. It's YouTube doing that, and I find it very interesting which comments they are hiding. I find it very telling. MB, welcome as a member to the channel. What does the here? What does the T-shirt say? It's a funny T-shirt. Hvorfor har du ikke bart? Why don't you have a mustache? That's what it says. And it's why would you ask people that? Well, it's because I think it looks awkward with people who have a beard but no mustache. I've always wondered, why do some people choose to have a full beard but no mustache? It's very strange. It's very strange. Okay. Well, here's one thing I will not do. From experience, I know that if I give you sources like we should do, YouTube won't like that, and they will take down the video. So I can only give you, I can only talk around things. I can't be too direct. That's how it works here. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but yeah, So, Amish people. Look up Blue Fire. I'm sorry, but whenever someone tells me to look up something, I will not. Actually, it's those words are no words for me. I hate those words. I won't look up anything. I look up what I want to look up. I won't look up anything people want tell me to, because I feel it implies that I haven't already investigated it, and it's kind of my job as a novelist to investigate, pretty much everything. So, no offense there, but it's just that no, I won't look up anything if I don't want to myself. So, yeah, the Amish, yeah, they, yeah, it's that's a bit extreme, It's a bit, it's what can I say? Yeah, we're not going to be Amish. I'm not going to be Amish, and but they don't have a mustache. I've noticed. So Amish will rule the world. I don't think so. I don't think so. Look up. Yeah, no, I'm not going to. Okay. Nick C. Well, thank you for the donation. Says enjoying the camping videos with the dogs. The warm suits you put on them is interesting. I did not know they made such things. Yes, they do. Now, why do I put clothes on my dogs? Because the dogs are not. They are dogs for a warm climate, you know. And it would be cruel to have them freezing. And maybe you have seen, have you seen whippets? They are quite common. They will freeze if it gets cold. So that's why I put those warm suits on them. And I said in a previous video that this was probably the last overnighter with the dogs. But now the weather is warm again. So if it stays as warm as this, we might actually go for another overnighter with the dogs, probably out to one of those islands, which I'm looking forward to. Here's I just have to read this just above the super chat there. JDO says, no mustache beard. Yeah, like a beard without a mustache is for kissing girls. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point actually. Because if you have a big mustache, my partner she doesn't like it when this mustache grows like very big. But yeah, yeah, they I've heard it before. Yeah, I don't have whippets actually. They are galgos, which is Spanish greyhounds they call them, and they are bigger than whippets, but smaller than greyhounds. So, okay. Why did you get that kind of dogs? Well, it's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short. I've made a few videos about that on my main channel. I got into dog rescue, and yeah, well, basically, I was a foster home for dogs, and the first dog we got was a dog like that. Not the first dog we got, but we got a dog like that, a Galgo from Spain actually, and I really liked the breed. But it was a coincidence that we ended up with that kind of dog in the first place. But they are really healthy and nice dogs, and yeah. So yeah, but it's you can watch those videos on the main channel. When you're involved in dog rescue, trying to help dogs, the dogs choose you and not the other way around, they say. Margot, well, thank you for the donation. Here's a funny one here. I didn't know this. Margot says Abraham Lincoln grew out of bed without a mustache at the advice of an 11-year-old girl, Grace Greenwood Biddell, who thought he had a weak chin and he would have a better shape to his face. Yeah, well, it's like if I have a woolly hat on like this, and it makes my head look very small and my chin look huge because of the beard. So that's yeah. Everything about beards and mustaches is it's funny, it's kind of funny. But anyway, so let's get back to the topic of the dark winter. What is a dark winter? It could be, when people talk about the dark winter, it could be what's it called? Power shutdowns, power outages. When the power supply gets shut off, you don't have electricity in your house. Okay, it gets cold and dark, and we will likely see more of that. If we look at the situation in Europe now, there is a problem with the power supply. It's unreliable in many countries now. It really shouldn't be. There is no reason for that. Well, there are reasons for that, but they should have prepared better than this. The situation in Norway now is that the price for electric power, like getting electric power to your house, it's very high. The price is very, very high. It's gotten to the point now where it's becoming difficult for, if you don't have, well, if you have not the best income, you still have to pay for, warming up your house or your flat and to take a shower and so on. Some people are struggling now with this because of the price. It's quite obvious that this has happened because Norway made the Norwegian government, the former government, they made deals to sell the power that we make here in Norway to other countries. And they put a wire, a cable across the North Sea to the UK. That and it's funny how just after they started sending our Norwegian power over to the UK, the price just went straight up here in Norway. And they're saying that we have a shortage of electric power here in Norway. That's why the price is going up. Well, you shouldn't really sell it to other countries then, should you? That's what they're doing. So that's one aspect of this. The broken supply chains. That's another aspect to this. I really don't mind if people don't get to buy that new electronic gadget for Christmas. That's not very important to me. But when we are seeing shortages when it comes to food and other essential items, which I think we will see in Norway as well, we have a problem. And this is something that will happen overnight because I actually studied logistics in as part of my economics studies, and what happens is that it's like a hose, your garden hose, right? It's like a garden hose, and you're standing there. Let's say you are watering your flowers in a garden with your hose, right, and you're standing there like this, and then someone steps on the hose, and you will have like almost full power of water coming out of the hose until suddenly there is no water there. That's how it works with the supply chain. So you will have the shelves in the groceries stores, they will be full. Maybe not full, but they will be, a couple of days before everything is gone. It will be full, and then suddenly it's gone, and no more is coming in. So that's another aspect, of course, of the dark winter. But there's a third, well, maybe there are many, but at least another aspect to this, which is maybe the most important one, and that's the mental state of the population. People are going to struggle mentally. We have seen nothing yet. I mean, this is going to be so hard on people. Let me just reply to the super chat from Nick C here. Thank you for the donation. And this power situation feels similar to USA, where we export so much food to China and other countries when perhaps we should keep it here for our people. Yes, exactly. Let's see. Yes. The mental state of people is, that's what worries me the most, because there really is only one way to go about this. There is only one way to manage this. And that's the way that I have chosen and most of you guys have chosen. And that's the attitude where you say that, well, I don't care anymore on what you're saying, about what you're saying. I don't care about your rules. I don't care about your restrictions. I will live my life. And if you close me out of what used to be, part of my normal life, well, I will find something somewhere else to go. I might not be able to do what I used to do, but I can go hiking. I can go and spend time out in nature. And I will certainly not, well, I almost stepped over the line there. I will spend time with my friends no matter what rules are implemented concerning spending time with friends. Okay? So any other mindset will make you a slave, and you won't be happy. You will be depressed, you will suffer, and you will start to realize that this is not ending. This is not ending. So you need to snap out of that. You need to snap out of that. You need to get into a mindset where you take control, and maybe parts of what you knew and understood as a normal life, maybe parts of that will be gone. That doesn't mean that you can't be a free human being. So, yes, Pagan Monk says we also need to get out of fear mindset. Absolutely. And it's like fear is a good thing when applied to things that are actually dangerous. For instance, we should be afraid of cars driving too fast. We should be afraid of toxic substances. We should be afraid of falling down from a tall ladder, and there are things that are dangerous, and we should apply that fear mechanism to those things. Fear as a mindset where you continually you worry about things in your normal life is extremely harmful. Okay, so I worry about the mindset and people. I worry about the fear mindset is one thing. The condemnation of people who won't follow the agenda, that's another aspect to this, which is which worries me. Yeah, mackerel sky. Well, fear is. Let me just specify what I mean by fear. Fear is. Yes, we should fear those things because they say that we are born with a fear of loud sounds. Now, I'm talking about fear in a psychological meaning here, the psychological sense here. So, and we all have the fear mechanism, right? We shouldn't go around and be afraid. But if you stand on top of a tall ladder, you should be afraid of falling down. But you shouldn't have a fearful mindset. There's a difference there, okay? So I'm not telling you that you should go around and be fearful of those things. But it's like they say babies are born with a fear of loud sounds. That's probably because evolution made it so that, in nature, a loud sound would be something dangerous. And that's what I'm talking about here. And we should apply that mechanism, which is a natural mechanism in the human psyche. We should apply it to things that are actually dangerous. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we should go around and be fearful of those things, but when you're in that situation, you should have fear, and you should apply that fear and use it to get out of that situation. So I hope you understand the difference there. Again, talking about fear as a psychological phenomenon, a part of the human psyche. Exactly. Fear is good for running from wild animals. That's a good example, actually. It will not happen to people today. It's very unlikely. But that's one situation where you respond with fear, and that enables you to get away from that situation. Okay. yeah, lots of, yeah, really, you guys, you need to understand what I'm saying here. Talking about fear as part of the human psyche, you know, and some of you guys are now talking about how you react to the fear, not fear itself. Okay, so um, not, they say that, fight or flee, flee or fight. You can run away from something or you can fight, and if fighting is what you do as a response to fear, you will usually channel the fear into aggression. Okay, so I'm trying to be concise here, so don't mix things up here. Okay. Fight or flight, yes, exactly. um okay, fear is, yeah, I can tell you, I have been afraid several times. um and why should I admit that? Only a fool would not be afraid when faced with a truly dangerous situation. That does not mean that I have acted like a coward. uh, Luke and Mom says I totally get the idea, yes. um so Norseman bushcrafting says fear is a natural instinct like that of fire and averse creatures. Yes. Now I can tell you, I can sometimes feel a kind of fear when I'm out alone in the woods and it's dark and I hear a sound. I can sense there's a I can sense a kind of fear, but it's also it's strange because it's a natural thing. It's as natural as breathing. And it doesn't mean I become afraid. It's just a feeling of fear, which I think is, even though I understand which animal is making that sound, for instance, I understand it and I kind of like it because it's kind of it goes back to an instinct. I think it's an instinct. So it goes back to the primeval time. And it's fascinating that we still have those feelings in our DNA, so to speak. Um, but again, you need to understand that I'm not, when I say that, what I just said, it doesn't mean I'm afraid of the dark out in the woods. It's that's not what I'm saying. It's more a sense, a feeling, which is fascinating. It's good to feel this connection in a way to past generations, and it's yeah. So, but I define it as fear because I think that's what it is. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I always feel safe in the woods as well. Absolutely. Ian says it makes you feel alive. Yes, absolutely. Our reptilian brain activating? Yes, I think so. Um, yeah. No, I like to call it fear. I don't. Yeah, it's semantics at this point, so let's just leave it. I'm sure some trolls will say when they copy things from this video and steal it, they will write underneath it that they oh, this guy says he's afraid of the dark. while I'm actually saying the opposite. But let's just leave that. Okay. Yeah, Ravenloft says, on a lighter note, most of us can lose a few pounds and we will come out to this better people for it. Yes, exactly. This is a hugely important issue. I think many people are carrying around a lot more fat than they need to. Get more active. For most people, also, I would say eat less carbs. You don't need all those carbs unless you're a carpenter carrying stuff all day, or you're like you're training for a marathon, running every day. You don't need all those carbs. Okay, so yeah, we could get more active. I've actually made some effort myself, and I'm at around 10,000 steps a day. I got a GPS watch, which I found very fascinating, and it also had it counts your steps. So I'm almost at 10,000 steps a day. I don't try to, but it's I walk the dogs, and I walk back and forth, and I do lots of stuff all the time. So yeah. Okay. So I am soon going to end this live stream. I will have a look at chat here if there are any questions. This is the time. Okay. I haven't planted garlic yet this year. The garlic last year, it was a fiasco. Carlis, I really don't know what you're talking about. Nobody knows where I'm taking my walks. How would they know? I don't. I'm. Well, if you walked around with a smartphone, they would know. So coming to Canada, I don't know if I will. Well, I know I will not come to Canada the way things are there. God. No, listen, you can't follow. How the F would they follow a GPS watch that hasn't been connected with a person? How would they do that? It's like sometimes I get a little bit tired of this. We need to be able to separate truth from fiction. We need to be able to look at the facts. We need to be able to say that, no, this is not true. This is not real. Okay. Because what I'm seeing, and yeah, I'll get into this. Listen, if you pick up a GPS watch in a store, you buy it, you never connect it to anything. How would they know you are, even if they were able to track that unit, how would they know it's you? It's like if I find a GPS watch or a GPS unit somewhere and I walk around with that, how would they know it's me? They will not know that. Please, please, people, please. Okay. So here's one thing I've seen. It was expected, but I will say a few words about this now. Some people are deep into conspiracy theories now. Some people have lost their connection with reality. And I believe it's a response to all the lies that have been fed to people through mainstream media. But we need to be able to separate facts from lies. We need to be able to use sense and logic and look at things as they are. I see some people, they believe everything is a conspiracy now. Like this guy in Norway recently, people are saying, well, no, it was not him, it was the government doing that. And it's like, listen, there are bad people out there. Sometimes those bad people, they go out and they do bad things. Okay? I see people saying that, well, they can watch you from their satellites, and they have, I won't even say it because then YouTube will think I'm promoting those ideas, but they have do this and that to you and you don't even know it, and they are tracking you, so no matter what, so it doesn't matter, you can just have those people, they themselves, I believe, have a smartphone, and many of them are saying this because they have this mindset where they think that it's no matter what you do, it won't improve the situation. So why will you make an effort then? Why will you make an effort? It doesn't matter what you do because they have the total control anyway. That's a rubbish mindset. That's a stupid mindset. It's also a disgusting mindset. So you can't just, you can't just throw ideas out there and expect people to take you seriously when those ideas are very far-fetched and you don't have any evidence. Now you could say I'm doing that, but I'm telling you, if I put my sources, references in the video description, the video gets taken down immediately. But you can look this up. Look it up, people. No, listen, Carlis, you need to snap out of this. Really. You need to snap out of this. Okay. There is a fallacy in your logic there. So you know what? Here's how things are going to be. If you insist on this now, I will remove you from the chat and the channel, okay? Thank you, Nick. Thank you for the donation. Okay. DCYLCE. How the yes, please remove yourself from my channels. Please do that. No, and it's not correct. It's not correct. Yeah, plant-based. They know that GPS signal and that GPS unit is in your address and they can see it's you. Not true. No, it is not true. Are we going to get into discussion about that? It really is just tiresome here. Whoever said that I use that, GPS unit in my house or walk around with it like that? Who said that? Yeah, I will get Carlsy or Carly out of the thing here. But it is also entertaining in a weird way. But okay, what I'm seeing here is that well, actually, you can look into how to track a GPS unit. It's not as straightforward as people seem to think. So, but anyway, okay, I see the battery on my laptop computer is running low here. So what I will do now is, okay, call this. Bye. Okay. So I will end this live stream now. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for being part of the discussion here. And I'll see you on the next one. Okay. Bye.